In our previous video, we have discussed regarding the definition of function overloading, and we have written a program, simple program that implements the concept of function overloading. In this video also, let me write another program regarding the function overloading, and based on this program, you people also have to write few programs based on the function overloading. Now, why do we need function overloading? Let us see that in this particular session. So, why do we need function overloading? In the sense, whenever two functions perform the same task, let us consider we are writing two different functions. Both the functions are performing addition of numbers. One might be adding two numbers and another might be adding three numbers, but both of them are performing the same thing. So what happens is, if you name one of the function differently, instead of writing it as addition, instead of naming the function as addition, if you name it as something else, what happens is, it creates a confusion. That is, by looking at the name of the function, you will not be knowing what exactly that particular function does. So that concept, or else to avoid the confusion, okay, we will be making use of the function overloading. And what happens is, whenever you are making use of the functions with different number of arguments, the compiler will decide which particular function needs to be executed based on the type of arguments or else based on the number of arguments. Okay, that is the thing you have to remember. The next thing is, whenever you are implementing the concept of function overloading, you have to make sure that you have the different type of arguments or different number of arguments in different functions. If both the functions are having same number of arguments and same type of arguments with the same name, you cannot implement the concept of function overloading. Okay, what happens is, one function overrides another function. That will be happening if all the functions are having the same name, same number of arguments and same type of arguments. Okay, that is different concept. The thing you have to remember whenever you are implementing the concept of function overloading is, the function must be having different number of arguments and the function must be having different type of arguments. That needs to be noted. Okay. Now, let me write a program to implement the concept of function overloading. In this program, what I will do is, I will create a function that will add two numbers and another function that will add three different numbers. And let us see how exactly one function is overloading another function, or else we are overloading two different functions with the same name. Now, starting with the first thing, the first header file, it is hash include iostream.h. The next thing is hash include continue.h. Okay. Next, I will create a class called sum. Okay. Here I will not declare any kind of variables. In our previous video also we have not declared any kind of variables. Directly I will go for the public part. Okay. Inside the public part, I will create two different functions. I will create two different functions with the same name, but the number of arguments will be different. Now, firstly what I will do is, I will create a function with the name add. The function with the name add, and it takes two arguments of kind integer. So a and b are the arguments which are of kind integers. The name of the function is add and the return type of the function is int. So when this particular function executes, it will return a value of kind integer. Now let me define this particular function, that is return a plus b. So what happens is, when this particular function executes, it will add the value of a and it will add the value of b and it will return that particular value. This is what exactly happens when this particular function executes. Now I have created one function. The name of the function is add and it takes two different arguments of kind integer. What this function does is, it will add the two different arguments or the values and it will return that particular value. Next, what I will do, I will create another function with the same name, int add. Now what I will do is, I will make use of three different arguments, or else I will pass three different arguments to this particular function. So what I will do, int x, int y, and then int z. So the name of the function is add. Here also the name of the function is add. The return type is int. And you can see over here, in this particular function, in the first function, it is taking two different arguments, whereas in the second function, it is taking three different arguments. Now, what this function does is, again it will do the same thing. It will add all the three values and it will return the value. Return x plus y plus z. So, I have created two different functions with the same name, and in the first function it is taking two different arguments. In the second function it is taking three different arguments. Okay. Now I will close the class. Now I have created a class with the name sum, and I have created two functions. Add. First function takes two arguments and the second function takes three arguments. First function add the two arguments value and it will return that particular value. Nextly what happens? Again the second function, what it does? It will add three different variables and it will return that particular value. Okay. Now the class part is over. Next we have to go for the main function. So void main. Next I will create the variable, sorry, the object for this particular class. Sum s1. So s1 is the name of the object which I have created. Next, what I have to do? I have to call the function. But in this case, you can see, you can observe in this particular program, I have not written any output function over here. Okay. Directly what this function does is, it will just return the value, but I have not written any output function. So what I have to do? I have to write the output statement over here only. So what I will do? I will write the output statement, cout the sum of values is equal to, sum of values is equal to, and I will call the first function. I will call the first function. So s1 is the name of the object and add is the name of the function. What I will do? I will pass, since this particular function is having two arguments, what I will do? I will pass two values, 10, 5. Next again what I will do? I will call the second function also, cout the sum of values is equal to, sum of values is equal to s1 dot add is the name of the function, but this function is having three different arguments. So what I will do? I will pass three different values, 10, 20 and then 30, and I will close the thing. Now this is the program that implements the concept of function overloading. What this particular program does is, it will create two different functions with the same name. One takes two arguments and another takes three arguments. Okay, and one function is overloading another function. Now let me explain you how exactly this particular program executes. Now coming to the main function, what happens? I have created the object for the class sum s1. Now what happens? This particular function, this particular line gets executed, or this particular statement gets executed. So what happens? You will get the output like this. The sum of values is equal to will be printed as it is. Now what happens? I am calling this particular function. So what happens? The control gets transferred to this particular function. So s1 dot add of 10, 5. So s1 dot add of 10, 5. I am calling the function with the two arguments, 10 and then 5. So what happens? This value, the first argument value will be replaced with 10 and the second argument will be replaced with 5. Now what happens? The value of A will be equal to 10 and the value of B will be equal to 5. So what happens? Return A plus B is nothing but return 10 plus 5. So what happens? This 10 and 5 gets added and this particular function will return the value that is called as 15. So what happens is we will get the output as 15. Next, what happens? I am calling the next statement gets executed. In the next statement, what happens? I have written one print statement, that is cout the sum of values is equal to, the sum of values is equal to S1 dot add of 10, 20, 30. Now what happens? The compiler will check for the function which is having 3 arguments. Now because there are 2 functions with the same name, add and add, but one is having 2 arguments and another one is having 3 arguments. So what happens? The compiler will check in the program which particular function is having 3 arguments. So this is the function that is having 3 arguments. So what happens? The function gets called. So S1 dot add of 10, 20, 30. So what happens? 10 gets assigned to X, 20 gets assigned to Y and 30 gets assigned to Z. Now inside the function body what you have? Return X plus Y plus Z. X plus Y plus Z is nothing but 10 plus 20 plus 30. So what happens? 10 plus 20 plus 30, it is nothing but 60. So this particular value will be returned. So what happens is it will print the value as 60. So this is the concept of how exactly we are implementing the concept of function overloading. So function overloading, it is nothing but 2 or more functions having the same name but different number of arguments. That is called as the function overloading. Now what happens is whenever you are calling those functions, the compiler will decide which particular function is having how many number of arguments. So when I call this particular first statement, when the first statement gets executed, the compiler will check which particular function is having 2 arguments, because there are 2 different functions with the same name. So what happens? It will check which particular function is having 2 arguments. So what happens? The first function gets executed. Nextly, when this particular statement is executed, again the compiler will check which particular function is having 3 different arguments. So what happens? This is the function that is having 3 different arguments. So what happens is this particular function gets executed. So that is the concept of function overloading. Now what you people have to do is you have to write a program that will compute the area of square and area of rectangle by using the concept of function overloading. Now what happens is, I will just give you briefly an idea about how to write this particular program. Now we will create a particular class. We will create a class. Let us consider shape or a geometrical shape or something like that. We will create a class. Next we will create 2 different functions, area. So 2 different functions needs to be created, area as well as area. 2 different functions. Both the functions are having the same name, that is called as area. Now to find the area of square, okay, it is nothing but length into length. That is, to find the area of square you require only one argument. So what happens? In the first area function you will be having only one argument. In the second one what happens? Again you are creating the function with the same name, that is called as area, but to calculate the area of rectangle you require 2 arguments, that is length and breadth. Okay. Now you have to write two different functions with the same name, that is called as area, but the first function takes only one argument and the second function takes two arguments. And the next most important thing you have to remember is, in the square also you require length, and in the rectangle also you require length. So what you have to do is, while passing the argument, in the first case you write it as int L, in the second case you write it as int L1 comma int B. Okay, that will be the thing you have to remember, and you can write this program and send it to my number. Okay, now we have come across the concept of function overloading. Here in the both the classes, whatever you have discussed, the thing is, in this particular class especially, we have discussed a program that is having the same name but different number of arguments. In our next class, let us write a program that will be consisting of the different type of arguments. That is, the data type will be different in the arguments. Okay, that will be discussed in our next class. Thank you everyone.